I sat in my new office at the State Business Licensing Board, reviewing the application that had just landed on my desk. The irony was exquisite. My ex-husband James's entire business future now depended on approval from the woman he had told would be nothing without him. His quarterly review application just arrived. Marcus Chen, my chief compliance officer, noted with professional satisfaction. Given his recent violations, he'll require direct board oversight. As department head, you'll have final approval authority. The screens displayed James's deteriorating business situation. 3 regulatory infractions in the past month, multiple compliance failures, and now his license renewal hanging by a thread. The man who had dismissed my capabilities was about to discover exactly who controlled his professional fate. His attempts to expedite the process have all failed, Sarah, my assistant, reported while bringing another stack of violation notices. Every request for special consideration has been denied based on the severity of infractions. He's been forced into our most stringent review category. I studied the documentation carefully, appreciating how thoroughly our new departmental procedures I had implemented, had trapped him. Each regulation, every compliance requirement, had been meticulously crafted to create perfect accountability. The timing is particularly interesting, Marcus observed, highlighting recent reports. His business expansion plans require immediate license renewal. Any delay could collapse several pending contracts. He's completely dependent on rapid approval. James had always dismissed my understanding of regulatory processes. "You focus on your little HR job, honey," he'd say patronizingly. "Leave the complex business matters to those who understand them." Now those same processes were systematically destroying his professional future. His latest financial reports show significant vulnerability, Sarah noted, displaying market analyses. The pending contracts represent over 60% of projected annual revenue. Without license renewal, his entire business model becomes unsustainable. Through my office window, I could see James pacing in the waiting area. The confident businessman who had belittled my capabilities for years was reduced to anxiously awaiting my decision. His assumption of my professional incompetence had created perfect circumstances for comprehensive consequences. "The violation pattern is particularly concerning," Marcus continued, reviewing incident reports. "Multiple infractions across different categories suggest systematic disregard for regulations. Standard protocol requires extensive investigation." Activated my secure terminal, beginning detailed review of James's business activities. The expertise he had denigrated was about to demonstrate sophisticated regulatory authority. Each aspect of his professional future now rested entirely in my hands. "His attorney's attempts at intervention have been blocked," Sarah added. "Our new procedures require direct licensee engagement. No representative can bypass the personal review requirements." The woman James had told would never understand real business was now controlling every aspect of his professional survival. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of regulatory accountability. The preliminary analysis of James's business records revealed patterns of non-compliance far more extensive than his current violations suggested. Each examination uncovered new evidence of systematic regulatory disregard. "The historical audit is particularly revealing," Marcus reported, displaying years of documentation. "Minor infractions consistently overlooked, compliance warnings ignored, regulatory guidance dismissed. He's been operating under the assumption of immunity from serious consequences." Through the surveillance feeds, I watched James's growing agitation in the waiting area. Each hour of delay visibly affected his carefully maintained professional composure. The man who had confidently dismissed regulatory oversight was experiencing systematic destruction of that confidence. "His business partners are starting to notice the situation," Sarah noted, monitoring industry communications. "Several major clients have placed contracts on hold pending license renewal. The market is already reacting to potential delays." Linda, Our legal counsel reviewed the mounting evidence. The pattern of violations creates serious concerns about operational integrity. Standard protocol requires comprehensive investigation of all business activities. I studied the financial impact projections carefully. Each day of delay in license renewal would increase pressure on James's business stability. The expertise he had denigrated was now orchestrating precise regulatory consequences. His attempts to leverage political connections have failed, Marcus added. The new departmental procedures eliminate traditional intervention channels. Every application must follow standard review protocols. The screens showed real-time updates of market reactions. Each hour without license renewal further damaged James's business reputation. His assumption of regulatory immunity was proving catastrophically misplaced. Industry analysts are already speculating, Sarah reported. Financial channels discussing potential business disruption. His company's stability is being publicly questioned. Through years of marriage, James had consistently underestimated my understanding of regulatory processes. These rules are too complex for you to grasp, he'd say condescendingly. Now those same rules were systematically dismantling his professional world. The violation categories are particularly problematic, Linda observed. Multiple infractions across different regulatory areas suggest fundamental disregard for compliance requirements. Each category demands separate investigation. I initiated the formal review sequence, every step carefully designed to maximize investigative thoroughness. The woman James had told to stick to simple tasks was implementing sophisticated regulatory oversight. His current clients are expressing concern, Marcus noted. Several have requested official status updates. Market confidence in his operations is rapidly deteriorating. The comprehensive assessment I had ordered would take weeks, each day increasing pressure on James's business stability. His dismissal of my capabilities had created perfect circumstances for systematic accountability. I raised an eyebrow. You thought I'd be okay with my husband leaving me for his pregnant mistress and giving her my house. She flushed. He said you two had grown apart, that you were relieved actually, that you wanted out but didn't know how to say it. The audacity of his lies stunned me. None of that is true. I'm realizing that, she said quietly. She took a deep breath. But I need you to understand something too. I'm not just some homewrecker. David and we have something real. And this baby deserves a stable home. I agree, I said. Just not my home. She bit her lip. Elizabeth, I don't want to be cruel, but I think we both know David and I will end up with this house. He told me about his connections, the judges who owe him favors. There it was. She hadn't come to apologize. She had come to deliver an ultimatum. David's very generous, she continued, resting a hand on her small bump. If you cooperate now, avoid an ugly court battle, he's prepared to offer you a very fair settlement. Enough for a nice condo downtown, with plenty left over. I looked at her. This young woman who had slept with my husband, who was carrying his child, who now sat in my kitchen calmly explaining how I should surrender my home to them, and something inside me shifted. Tell me, Amber, I said, my voice deceptively soft. Does it bother you at all, knowing he was married when you got involved with him? She shrugged, dropping the vulnerable act. Marriages end all the time. Yours was already over in all but name. David told me everything, how you two hadn't been intimate in over a year, how you were just going through the motions. Another lie, but I didn't bother correcting her. Instead, I asked the question that had been nagging at me since yesterday. And you're absolutely certain the baby is his? Her eyes flashed with anger. Of course it is. What kind of person do you think I am? I almost laughed. A woman who sleeps, with married men asking about her character. Just checking, I said. Because David had a vasectomy 3 years ago. The color drained from her face. What? No, he didn't. He would have told me. Would he? He told you a lot of things that weren't true. This was a bluff, of course. David hadn't had a vasectomy, but watching her reaction told me everything I needed to know. She stood abruptly. This is just a pathetic attempt to cause problems between us. It won't work. If you're so confident, I said, walking her to the door, then I'm sure you won't mind a paternity test. She stopped in the doorway, turning to face me with narrowed eyes. This isn't over. I smiled thinly. On that we agree. As I watched her drive away in her luxury SUV, my mind was racing. I had meant the vasectomy story as a simple jab, a way to plant doubt. But her reaction suggested something I hadn't considered. Was she really so certain the baby was David's? Or was her confidence hiding something else entirely? I checked my watch. Our review process expanded systematically into every aspect of James's business operations. Each new area of investigation revealed additional compliance failures, creating an ever-growing case for regulatory intervention. Financial audit findings are particularly concerning, Marcus reported, analyzing recent discoveries. Questionable accounting practices, unclear transaction records, suspicious fund movements. The pattern suggests deliberate attempts to circumvent reporting requirements. The surveillance feeds showed James making another appearance at our office, his professional composure noticeably deteriorating. Each failed attempt to expedite the process visibly affected his carefully maintained image of business authority. His executive team is fracturing, Sarah noted, monitoring internal communications. Board members expressing serious concerns, department heads distancing themselves, management unity collapsing. The organizational impact is accelerating. Linda reviewed the expanding investigation scope. Multiple regulatory agencies now involved, each conducting independent reviews. The coordination requirements alone will extend the timeline significantly. I studied the mounting evidence carefully. Every financial record, each operational document strengthened the case for comprehensive oversight. The expertise James had denigrated was systematically exposing his business practices. Market response continues intensifying, Marcus observed. Stock value declining, investor confidence eroding, business stability increasingly questioned. The financial impact becomes more severe daily. Our investigation methodically documented years of regulatory disregard. Each discovery, every violation, revealed through careful examination, created perfect record of systematic non-compliance. Industry speculation growing, Sarah reported. Professional networks discussing potential business failure. His leadership reputation suffering unprecedented damage. Through precise procedure design, I had created investigation requirements that eliminated any possibility of expedited review. James's increasingly desperate attempts at acceleration encountered carefully constructed barriers. The compliance failures are remarkably extensive, Linda noted. Each operational area reveals new violations. The investigation scope continues expanding naturally. I monitored the growing evidence file with professional satisfaction. The woman James had told would never grasp complex business was creating comprehensive record of his operational failures. His professional standing deteriorating rapidly, Marcus added. Business community openly questioning competence. Leadership capability increasingly doubted. The systematic investigation would continue indefinitely, each day increasing pressure on James's business stability. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of regulatory consequences. The extended investigation began creating severe financial pressure on James's business operations. Each day without license renewal brought new monetary consequences, systematically destroying his company's stability. Market analysts have issued critical updates, Marcus reported, displaying financial data. Share price down 47% since investigation began, trading volume declining sharply, investor confidence completely eroded. The market impact exceeds our projections through multiple Data feeds, I watched James's business empire crumbling. The man who had confidently declared I'd never understand finance was experiencing systematic destruction of his financial foundation. Major clients initiating contract withdrawals, Sarah noted, tracking business losses. Project cancellations. Accelerating. Service agreements terminated. Revenue streams collapsing. The financial deterioration is comprehensive. Linda reviewed incoming legal notifications. Creditors expressing serious concerns. Loan covenants under review. Banking relationships destabilized. His financial position becomes more precarious. Daily. I studied the cascading effects carefully. Each client departure, every contract cancellation pushed his business closer to insolvency. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect financial consequences. Banking sector particularly reactive, Marcus observed. Credit lines suspended, loan terms reevaluated, financial support withdrawing. His access to capital is systematically disappearing. The screens showed real-time updates of business deterioration. Each market indicator, every financial metric revealed deepening crisis. James's assumption of business invulnerability was proving catastrophically misplaced. Industry partners distancing rapidly, Sarah reported. Strategic alliances dissolved, business relationships terminated, professional networks collapsed, his commercial isolation becoming complete. Through careful investigation timing, I had created financial pressure that eliminated any possibility of recovery. James's increasingly desperate attempts at business stabilization encountered methodically constructed barriers. The monetary impact is extraordinary, Linda noted. Operating capital depleting, revenue streams interrupted, business model compromised. Financial survival appears increasingly unlikely. I monitored the growing crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would be nothing without him was systematically dismantling his financial existence. His business reputation destroyed, Marcus added. Market confidence eliminated, professional credibility lost, leadership capability questioned. The commercial damage appears permanent. The financial destruction would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete business collapse. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of economic consequences. As our investigation continued, the impact on James's professional relationships intensified dramatically. Each business connection, every industry alliance began systematically distancing themselves from his growing regulatory problems. Board. Members initiating mass departure, Marcus reported, monitoring corporate communications. Executive team resignations accelerating, management structure collapsing, organizational stability compromised. His professional isolation is becoming absolute. The screens displayed real-time updates of network dissolution. Each professional contact, every business associate carefully separating themselves from potential regulatory implications. Industry leadership positions terminated, Sarah noted, tracking status changes. Committee appointments withdrawn, speaking engagements canceled, professional recognitions revoked. His standing in the business community is systematically dissolving. Linda. Reviewed liability implications. Partners implementing distance protocols, associations severing connections, professional relationships terminated. Legal exposure concerns driving complete isolation. I watched years of James's carefully cultivated network crumble. The man who had boasted about his irreplaceable business connections was experiencing systematic destruction of every professional relationship. Corporate boards particularly reactive, Marcus observed. Advisory positions eliminated, governance roles terminated, business influence evaporating. His professional authority is completely compromised. Our investigation methodology ensured maximum visibility of compliance failures. Each revelation, every documented violation pushed more professional contacts toward disassociation. Business community response intensifying, Sarah reported. Industry leaders denouncing practices, professional peers distancing publicly, reputation damage accelerating exponentially. Through precise timing of investigation disclosures, I had created professional pressure that eliminated any possibility of network preservation. James's desperate attempts at relationship maintenance encountered carefully structured barriers. The reputational impact is unprecedented, Linda noted. Professional standing destroyed, business authority eliminated, leadership credibility lost. His position in the industry appears unsalvageable. I monitored the network collapse with clinical detachment. The woman James had told would never build real business relationships was systematically dismantling his professional world. His industry influence eliminated, Marcus added. Corporate connections severed, business alliances dissolved, professional associations terminated. The network destruction appears complete. The professional isolation would continue expanding, each day pushing James closer to complete career collapse. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of network destruction. The destabilization of James's business triggered a systematic departure of key personnel. Each employee resignation, every staff departure, further weakened his company's operational capability and market position. Senior management initiating coordinated exit, Marcus reported, tracking internal movements. Department heads submitting resignations, team leaders departing, organizational structure dissolving. The employee exodus is accelerating beyond expectations. Through multiple data feeds, I watched his carefully built workforce disintegrate. The man who had prided himself on building the best teams was experiencing systematic destruction of his human resources. Talent retention completely compromised, Sarah noted, monitoring staff changes. Key personnel updating resumes, professional networks active, workforce stability collapsing. The organizational impact becomes more severe hourly. Linda reviewed employment implications. Contract obligations under review, benefit commitments questioned, pension arrangements scrutinized. The workforce concerns are creating additional investigation requirements. I studied the cascading departures carefully. Each staff resignation, every team dissolution pushed his operations closer to failure. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect organizational consequences. Technical teams particularly affected, Marcus observed. Project leaders departing, development teams disbanding, operational capabilities diminishing. His ability to maintain business functions is systematically disappearing. The screens showed real-time updates of staff departures. Each resignation notification, every exit interview revealed deepening organizational crisis. James's assumption of employee loyalty was proving catastrophically misplaced. Internal morale collapsing, Sarah reported. Staff confidence destroyed, team cohesion eliminated, workplace stability compromised. His organizational culture is disintegrating completely. Through careful investigation timing, I had created employment pressure that eliminated any possibility of staff retention. James's increasingly desperate attempts at workforce stabilization encountered methodically constructed barriers. The personnel impact is extraordinary, Linda noted. Operational capacity depleting, team structures failing, business continuity threatened. Organizational survival appears increasingly unlikely. I monitored the growing exodus with professional satisfaction. The woman James had told would never understand people management was systematically dismantling his workforce. His leadership authority destroyed, Marcus added. Staff trust eliminated, management credibility lost, organizational control compromised. The employee damage appears permanent. The organizational destruction would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational collapse. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of workforce consequences. The financial markets reacted to our investigation with unprecedented severity. Each new revelation, every compliance failure discovery triggered stronger market response. systematically destroying James's business valuation. Trading algorithms. Flagging critical concerns, Marcus reported, analyzing market data. Automated systems initiating sell orders, institutional investors withdrawing, market makers abandoning position support. The stock price deterioration exceeds all projections. The screens displayed real-time market destruction. Each trading hour, every market session pushed his company's valuation lower. The man who had boasted about his market mastery was experiencing systematic elimination of shareholder value. Investment analysts issuing critical updates, Sarah noted, tracking financial coverage. Rating agencies downgrading status, market recommendations negative, investment confidence eliminated. The market sentiment is universally hostile. Linda. Reviewed securities implications. Shareholder lawsuits threatened, investor claims mounting, financial disclosure questioned. The market response is creating additional regulatory exposure. I watched years of James's market reputation dissolve. Each price decline, every negative analysis pushed his business closer to trading suspension. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect market consequences. Hedge funds particularly aggressive, Marcus observed. Short positions increasing, bearish options active, market speculation intensifying. His stock price is systematically collapsing. Our investigation, timing ensured maximum market impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to create optimal trading pressure. James's desperate attempts at market stabilization encountered carefully planned barriers. Financial press coverage intensifying, Sarah reported. Market. Analysts predicting failure, investment community withdrawing support, trading confidence completely eroded. His market presence is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation releases, I had created market conditions that eliminated any possibility of price recovery. The systematic destruction of his company's value proceeded exactly as designed. The market impact unprecedented, Linda noted. Trading volume collapsing, price support eliminated, market mechanics failing. His stock appears commercially unviable. I monitored the market destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never grasp market dynamics was systematically dismantling his stock value. His market credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Investor trust eliminated. Trading confidence lost, market standing compromised. The financial damage appears terminal. The market collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete stock failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of market consequences. The uncertainty surrounding James's license renewal triggered a massive departure of major clients. Each contract cancellation, every project termination further eroded his company's viability and market position. Premium clients initiating mass withdrawal, Marcus reported, tracking account changes. Long-term contracts canceled, service agreements terminated, business relationships dissolved. The client exodus exceeds worst-case projections. Through multiple data feeds, I watched his customer base disintegrate. The man who had bragged about his unbreakable client relationships was experiencing systematic destruction of his business foundation. Service divisions reporting critical losses, Sarah noted, monitoring revenue impacts. Major accounts departing, project pipelines empty, revenue streams collapsing. The business model appears completely compromised. Linda reviewed contractual implications. Service obligations under review. Delivery commitments questioned. Performance guarantees challenged. The client concerns are creating additional liability exposure. I studied the cascading departures carefully. Each customer loss, every account closure pushed his operations closer to insolvency. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect commercial consequences. Industry leaders particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Major corporations withdrawing business, strategic partners departing, market presence diminishing. His ability to maintain operations is systematically disappearing. The screens showed real-time updates of client departures. Each termination notice, every account closure revealed deepening business crisis. James's assumption of customer loyalty was proving catastrophically misplaced. Market share collapsing rapidly, Sarah reported. Competitive position weakening, industry standing compromised, business viability questioned. His commercial presence is dissolving completely. Through careful investigation timing, I had created business pressure that eliminated any possibility of client retention. James's increasingly desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered methodically constructed barriers. The commercial impact is extraordinary, Linda noted. Revenue base depleting, service capacity failing, business continuity threatened. Operational survival appears increasingly unlikely. I monitored the growing exodus with professional satisfaction. The woman James had told would never handle major accounts was systematically dismantling his client base. His market authority destroyed, Marcus added. Client trust eliminated, service credibility lost, business control compromised. The commercial damage appears permanent. The client destruction would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete business collapse. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of commercial consequences. P-Proach continues over the following weeks. 3 more acquisition offers arrive from different companies, each slightly higher than the last. Industry rumors suggest he's assembling a consortium of traditional publishers to rescue Harman from its new direction. Rather than dignifying these maneuvers with responses, I accelerate our transformation. We announce an international expansion, digital subscription service, and film-television production partnership, all initiatives that had been planned for next year but are strategically revealed early. The market responds enthusiastically, with our public valuation increasing substantially. By the time Richards Consortium makes its final offer of $34 million, industry analysts are estimating Harman's actual value at nearly $50 million. They're not even in the ballpark anymore, Patricia observes as we review the latest offer. Our digital initiatives alone have created more value than they're acknowledging. They're valuing what Harman was, not what it's becoming, I reply. An increasingly expensive miscalculation. The rejection letter I send is polite, but pointed. While we appreciate your continued interest, Harman Publishing Group is focused on building long-term value through innovation rather than short-term transactions. We look forward to continuing our productive competition in the marketplace. That evening, my phone rings with an unfamiliar number. Eleanor Sullivan, I answer. Why won't you sell? Richard's voice, slightly slurred, suggests he's been drinking. Name your price. Everyone has one. This direct approach is unexpected after months of proxies and intermediaries. Hello, Richard. I'm well. Thank you for asking. Don't patronize. Me? He snaps. You've made your point. You've shown everyone how clever you are. Now take the money and go back to planning dinner parties. The comment is so absurdly outdated that I almost laugh. Richard, I didn't buy Harman to prove something to you. I bought it because I saw untapped potential that your approach was ignoring. You bought it for revenge, he insists, because we rejected your little novel. That was the catalyst, not the purpose, I correct him. Though I should thank you for that rejection. It opened my eyes to broader systemic issues in publishing. There's a long pause before he responds. What will it take, Eleanor? What do you want? I already have what I want, Richard. I'm building the company I always knew Harman could be. After we hang up, I reflect on how completely our roles have reversed. Once, I was invisible to him, the silent wife at the dinner table. Now, he's the one seeking my attention and validation. The transformation is complete, but not in the way either of us might have anticipated. Confidence lost, financial standing compromised. The monetary damage appears terminal. The banking collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete financial failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of credit consequences. The uncertainty surrounding James's business license triggered systematic withdrawal of critical suppliers. Each vendor termination, every supply chain disruption, further compromised his company's operational capability. Major suppliers implementing immediate restrictions, Marcus reported, tracking vendor responses. Credit terms revoked, delivery schedules suspended, supply agreements terminated. The operational disruption exceeds containment capabilities. Through multiple data feeds, I watched his supply network disintegrate. The man who had bragged about his unshakable vendor relationships was experiencing systematic destruction of his operational infrastructure. Supply chain reporting critical failures, Sarah noted, monitoring delivery impacts. Material shortages emerging, production schedules disrupted, inventory levels collapsing. The operational model appears fundamentally compromised. Linda reviewed contractual implications. Supply obligations under review, delivery commitments questioned, performance capabilities challenged. The vendor concerns are creating additional operational exposure. I studied the cascading disruptions carefully. Each supplier loss, every delivery cancellation pushed his operations closer to shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect logistical consequences. Key vendors particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Strategic suppliers withdrawing support, delivery partners departing, supply chain dissolving. His ability to maintain production is systematically disappearing. The screens showed real-time updates of supplier departures. Each termination notice, every contract cancellation revealed deepening operational crisis. James's assumption of vendor loyalty was proving catastrophically misplaced. Production capacity severely compromised, Sarah reported. Manufacturing capabilities restricted, service delivery impaired, operational viability questioned. His business continuity is dissolving completely. Through careful investigation timing, I had created supply pressure that eliminated any possibility of vendor retention. James's increasingly desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered methodically constructed barriers. The operational impact is extraordinary, Linda noted. Supply base depleting, production capacity failing, business sustainability threatened. Operational survival appears increasingly unlikely. I monitored the growing exodus with professional satisfaction. The woman James had told would never manage complex operations was systematically dismantling his supply chain. His vendor credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Supplier trust eliminated, operational reliability lost, production control compromised. The supply chain damage appears permanent. The operational destruction would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete business shutdown. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of supply chain consequences. The extended licensing investigation began triggering systematic failure of James's major projects. Each development delay, every implementation crisis further eroded his company's delivery capabilities and client confidence. Critical projects entering terminal decline, Marcus reported, analyzing performance data. Development timelines failing, delivery schedules collapsing, implementation targets missed. The project deterioration exceeds intervention capacity. The screens displayed cascading project failures. Each milestone miss, every delivery delay systematically destroying client confidence. The man who had boasted about his perfect project, execution was experiencing coordinated collapse of operational effectiveness. Project teams reporting systemic failures, Sarah noted, tracking implementation status. Development resources departing, technical capabilities compromised, delivery infrastructure collapsing. The project environment is universally unstable. Linda reviewed contractual exposure. Delivery obligations breached, performance requirements missed, implementation guarantees violated. The project failures are creating additional liability concerns. I watched years of James's project reputation dissolve. Each timeline slip, every quality issue pushed his operations closer to complete failure. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect operational consequences. Major initiatives particularly affected, Marcus observed. Strategic projects failing, development efforts stalled, implementation progress frozen. His ability to maintain delivery credibility is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum project impact. Each review, every inspection strategically scheduled to create optimal delivery pressure. James's desperate attempts at project recovery encountered carefully planned barriers. Development operations severely compromised, Sarah reported. Technical resources depleted, implementation capabilities restricted, delivery confidence eliminated. His project viability is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created project conditions that eliminated any possibility of recovery. The systematic destruction of his company's delivery capability proceeded exactly as designed. The operational impact unprecedented, Linda noted. Project infrastructure failing, delivery mechanisms compromised, implementation systems collapsing. His operations appear fundamentally broken. I monitored the project destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never handle complex projects was systematically dismantling his delivery capabilities. His implementation credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Client trust eliminated, delivery confidence lost, project control compromised. The operational damage appears terminal. The project collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of implementation. Consequences. The mounting business crisis triggered decisive action from James's board of directors. Each revelation from our investigation, every new compliance failure pushed the board toward more aggressive oversight of his leadership. Emergency board session convened this morning, Marcus reported, monitoring corporate communications. Directors demanding immediate answers, oversight committees formed, leadership review initiated. The governance pressure exceeds strategic projections. The screens displayed real-time updates of board activity. Each member's response, every director's concern systematically eroding James's authority. The man who had boasted about his total board support was experiencing coordinated dissolution of leadership trust. Independent directors particularly aggressive, Sarah noted, tracking governance responses. Audit committee expanded, compliance. Oversight increased, management authority restricted. The board environment is universally hostile. Linda reviewed corporate implications. Fiduciary obligations cited, governance requirements escalated, leadership accountability demanded. The board pressure is creating additional executive stress. I watched years of James's carefully cultivated board relationships crumble. Each trust violation, every leadership failure pushed him closer to complete removal. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect governance consequences. Audit committee findings especially damaging, Marcus observed. Financial controls questioned, compliance failures exposed, management decisions challenged. His ability to maintain board confidence is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum governance impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal board response. James's desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Corporate governance severely compromised, Sarah reported. Board trust depleting, leadership credibility restricted, executive authority eliminated. His management position is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation releases, I had created board conditions that eliminated any possibility of leadership recovery. The systematic destruction of his corporate authority proceeded exactly as designed. The governance. Impact unprecedented, Linda noted. Board support terminated, leadership trust eliminated, management mechanics failing. His position appears completely untenable. I monitored the governance destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand corporate leadership was systematically dismantling his board relationships. His executive credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Director trust eliminated, board confidence lost, leadership standing compromised. The governance damage appears terminal. The board collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete leadership failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of governance. Consequences. James's carefully constructed industry reputation began unraveling with unprecedented speed. Each new compliance failure, every regulatory violation systematically destroyed the professional image he had spent decades building. Industry leadership. Positions terminating immediately, Marcus reported, tracking professional fallout. Committee appointments withdrawn, speaking engagements canceled, advisory roles eliminated. The reputational collapse exceeds impact projections. The screens showed cascading status losses. Each professional organization, every industry association systematically distancing themselves from his growing scandal. The man who had boasted about his untouchable industry standing was experiencing coordinated destruction of professional credibility. Professional networks implementing complete separation, Sarah noted, monitoring association responses. Membership revoked, credentials questioned, industry access restricted. The professional environment is universally hostile. Linda reviewed liability implications. Professional standards violated, industry trust breached, leadership credibility compromised. The reputational damage is creating additional exposure concerns. I watched years of James's status cultivation dissolve. Each connection severed, every relationship terminated, pushed him closer to complete professional isolation. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect reputational consequences. Elite organizations particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Honorary positions revoked, professional recognition withdrawn, industry influence eliminated. His ability to maintain professional standing is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum reputational impact. Each revelation, every disclosure strategically timed to trigger optimal professional response. James's desperate attempts at status preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Industry influence severely compromised, Sarah reported. Professional authority depleting, leadership recognition restricted, market credibility eliminated. His industry position is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation releases, I had created professional conditions that eliminated any possibility of reputation recovery. The systematic destruction of his industry standing proceeded exactly as designed. The professional impact unprecedented, Linda noted. Industry support terminated, leadership recognition eliminated, professional mechanics failing. His position appears fundamentally destroyed. I monitored the reputational destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never achieve real professional status was systematically dismantling his industry standing. His professional credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Industry trust eliminated, peer confidence lost, leadership, authority compromised. The reputational damage appears terminal. The professional collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete industry isolation. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of reputational consequences. The business media's coverage of James's regulatory crisis intensified dramatically. Each new investigation finding, every compliance failure revelation generated increasingly damaging press coverage, systematically destroying his public image. Financial press coverage reaching critical mass, Marcus reported, monitoring media channels. Major outlets running lead stories, investigative teams deployed, editorial boards engaged. The media impact exceeds strategic expectations. The screens displayed mounting press attention. Each news outlet, every business publication systematically exposing his operational failures. The man who had bragged about his perfect media relationships was experiencing coordinated destruction of public credibility. Industry journalists particularly aggressive, Sarah noted, tracking coverage patterns. Regulatory failures highlighted, compliance issues detailed, management decisions questioned. The media environment is universally hostile. Linda reviewed public relations implications. Professional reputation damaged, leadership credibility challenged, public trust compromised. The media coverage is creating additional exposure concerns. Watched years of James's media cultivation dissolve. Each negative story, every critical analysis pushed him closer to complete public disgrace. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect publicity consequences. Business networks especially focused, Marcus observed, special reports commissioned, investigative features planned, analysis segments dedicated. His ability to maintain public image is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum media impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal press coverage. James's desperate attempts at narrative control encountered carefully planned barriers. Public credibility severely compromised, Sarah reported. Media trust depleting, professional reputation restricted, leadership image eliminated. His public standing is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation releases, I had created media conditions that eliminated any possibility of image recovery. The systematic destruction of his public reputation proceeded exactly as designed. The coverage impact unprecedented, Linda noted. Media support terminated, public trust eliminated, reputation mechanics failing. His position appears fundamentally destroyed. I monitored the media destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never handle public relations was systematically dismantling his press relationships. His media credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Press trust eliminated, journalist confidence lost, public image compromised. The coverage damage appears terminal. The media collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete public isolation. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of press consequences. James's carefully maintained social status began crumbling under the weight of mounting scandal. Each elite organization, every prestigious club, systematically distanced themselves from his growing regulatory crisis. Private club memberships, suspended immediately, Marcus reported, tracking social fallout. Elite access revoked, event invitations withdrawn. Social connections severed. The status collapse exceeds impact projections. The screens showed cascading social rejection. Each exclusive venue, every prestigious gathering systematically removing him from guest lists. The man who had boasted about his unshakable social position was experiencing coordinated destruction of elite standing. Society organizations implementing complete separation, Sarah noted, monitoring status changes. Charitable boards resigned, foundation roles eliminated, philanthropy connections terminated. The social environment is universally hostile. Linda reviewed reputation implications. Social standing compromised, elite credibility questioned, community trust damaged. The status decline is creating additional isolation concerns. I watched years of James's social climbing dissolve. Each connection broken, every relationship severed, pushed him closer to complete social ostracism. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect status consequences. Elite circles particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Private memberships canceled, social recognition withdrawn, prestigious access eliminated. His ability to maintain social standing is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum social impact. Each revelation, every disclosure, strategically timed to trigger optimal society response. James's desperate attempts at status preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Community influence severely compromised, Sarah reported. Social authority depleting, elite recognition restricted, prestigious access eliminated. His social position is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation releases, I had created social conditions that eliminated any possibility of status recovery. The systematic destruction of his society's standing proceeded exactly as designed. The social impact unprecedented, Linda noted. Elite support terminated, prestigious recognition eliminated, status mechanics failing. His position appears fundamentally destroyed. I monitored the social destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never achieve real social standing was systematically dismantling his elite status. His social credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Society trust eliminated, elite confidence lost, prestigious standing compromised. The status damage appears terminal. The social collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete elite isolation. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of status consequences. Additional credibility combined with progressive direction is powerful positioning, and signals the alliance's vulnerability, Thomas adds. If Blackwood is jumping ship, others will follow. We should prepare for industry consolidation, I decide. The next phase will likely involve significant restructuring as traditional publishers either evolve or combine to survive. Over the following weeks, signs of the alliance's struggles become increasingly visible. 2 member publishers announce strategic reorganizations. A major alliance author publicly questions their marketing support. Industry analysts revise revenue projections downward. When Andrew and I attend a charity gala the following month, Richard is noticeably absent, though several alliance executives attend. Their conversations seem strained, their networking more urgent than usual. Rat sensing the ship is sinking. Andrew observes quietly. Perhaps, I acknowledge, though I take no pleasure in their struggles. No? He raises a skeptical eyebrow. After Richard's determined opposition, the goal was never his failure, I remind him. It was Harmon's success and industry evolution. Those have been achieved regardless of the alliance's fate. Marcus Reed approaches, champagne in hand. Eleanor, Andrew, quite the industry buzz about Blackwood's new direction. I understand you had lunch with Amelia recently. A fascinating conversation, I acknowledge without elaborating. Her industry perspective spans decades of evolution. Indeed. He lowers his voice slightly. I've heard rumors about the alliance's stability. Richard has been notably absent from recent industry functions. I couldn't comment on their internal matters, I replied diplomatically. Of course. Marcus nods understanding. Though I expect significant announcements in the coming weeks, the NPA board is preparing for potential industry restructuring. His oblique warning confirms Amelia's assessment. The industry landscape is shifting rapidly, with traditional models facing increasing pressure to adapt or decline. The transformation that began with Harmon has become an industry-wide reckoning, forcing even established publishers to reconsider long-held assumptions. The Invisible Housewife's vision hasn't merely changed one company, it's reshaping an entire industry's understanding of whose voices deserve recognition and how publishing must evolve to remain culturally relevant and commercially viable. As we leave the gala, Caroline texts an update that confirms this shifting landscape. Alliance Board. Meeting today. Richard removed as strategic advisor. Official announcement coming tomorrow. His investor credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Market trust eliminated, shareholder confidence lost, ownership standing compromised. The investment damage appears terminal. The investor collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete market isolation. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of investment. Consequences. Our investigation's findings began triggering multiple legal challenges to James's business operations. Each compliance failure, every regulatory violation generated new lawsuits, systematically increasing his legal vulnerability. Class action. Suits filing simultaneously, Marcus reported, tracking litigation activity. Shareholder claims mounting, employee actions initiated, client lawsuits commenced. The legal exposure exceeds containment projections. The screens displayed cascading. Legal challenges. Each court filing, every legal action systematically expanding his liability exposure. The man who had bragged about his bulletproof legal position was experiencing coordinated destruction of legal protection. Multiple jurisdictions activating proceedings, Sarah noted, monitoring case filings. State investigations launched. Federal inquiries expanded. Regulatory actions accelerated. The legal environment is universally hostile. Linda reviewed liability implications. Defense positions compromised, legal protections challenged, liability exposure expanded. The litigation wave is creating additional operational pressure. I watched years of James's legal preparation dissolve. Each new case, every fresh claim pushed his resources closer to exhaustion. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating. Perfect litigation consequences. Major law firms particularly cautious, Marcus observed. Legal representation withdrawn, defense strategies questioned, professional support eliminated. His ability to maintain legal defense is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum legal impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal lawsuit response. James's desperate attempts at legal protection encountered carefully planned barriers. Defense capabilities severely compromised, Sarah reported. Legal resources depleting, litigation support restricted, protection mechanisms eliminated. His legal position is dissolving. Rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation releases, I had created legal conditions that eliminated any possibility of defense recovery. The systematic destruction of his legal protection proceeded exactly as designed. The litigation impact. Unprecedented, Linda noted. Legal support terminated, defense capabilities eliminated, protection mechanics failing. His position appears fundamentally exposed. I monitored the legal destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never handle complex litigation was systematically dismantling his legal defenses. His legal credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Court trust eliminated, judicial confidence lost, litigation standing compromised. The legal damage appears terminal. The legal collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete defense failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of litigation consequences. The extended investigation began affecting James's critical technology infrastructure. Each system review, every platform audit revealed new vulnerabilities, systematically compromising his operational capabilities. Core systems showing critical instability, Marcus reported, monitoring technical status. Platform failures increasing, system reliability compromised, infrastructure stability threatened. The technology deterioration exceeds intervention capacity. The screens displayed cascading system issues. Each technical failure, every infrastructure problem systematically crippling operations. The man who had boasted about his superior technology platform was experiencing coordinated destruction of technical capability. Development teams reporting systematic failures, Sarah noted, tracking system performance. Code quality degrading. Platform stability compromised. Technical debt mounting. The technology environment is universally unstable. Linda reviewed operational implications. System reliability questioned, platform capabilities challenged, infrastructure integrity disputed. The technical issues are creating additional business risk. I watched years of James's technology investment crumble. Each system crash, every platform failure pushed his operations closer to collapse. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect technical consequences. Critical platforms particularly affected, Marcus observed. Core systems failing, infrastructure support withdrawn, technical capabilities eliminated. His ability to maintain operational stability is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum technical impact. Each review, every audit strategically timed to trigger optimal system stress. James's desperate attempts at platform stabilization encountered carefully planned barriers. Infrastructure support severely compromised, Sarah reported. Technical resources depleting, system reliability restricted, platform stability eliminated. His operational capability is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created technical conditions that eliminated any possibility of system recovery. The systematic destruction of his technology infrastructure proceeded exactly as designed. The technical impact unprecedented, Linda noted. System support terminated, platform capabilities eliminated, infrastructure mechanics failing. His position appears fundamentally compromised. I monitored the technology destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex systems was systematically dismantling his technical infrastructure. His platform credibility destroyed, Marcus added. System trust eliminated, technical confidence lost, infrastructure standing compromised. The operational damage appears terminal. The technology collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete system failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of technical consequences. Our investigation uncovered systematic failures in James's financial control systems. Each audit finding, every accounting review revealed new irregularities, systematically destroying his fiscal credibility. Internal controls showing complete breakdown, Marcus reported, analyzing financial data. Accounting systems failing, audit trails compromised, compliance mechanisms dysfunctional. The control deterioration exceeds recovery potential. The screens displayed cascading financial irregularities. Each control failure, every compliance gap systematically undermining operational integrity. The man who had bragged about his perfect financial management was experiencing coordinated destruction of fiscal authority. Audit teams reporting pervasive issues, Sarah noted, tracking system findings. Control weaknesses identified, procedure violations documented, oversight failures confirmed. The financial environment is universally compromised. Linda reviewed regulatory implications. Compliance standards violated, control requirements breached, oversight integrity questioned. The system failures are creating additional regulatory exposure. I watched years of James's financial structure dissolve. Each control breach, every procedure violation pushed his operations closer to regulatory intervention. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect accountability consequences. Critical controls particularly compromised, Marcus observed. Core systems failing, oversight mechanisms broken, compliance capabilities eliminated. His ability to maintain financial integrity is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum control impact. Each review, every audit strategically timed to trigger optimal system exposure. James's desperate attempts at financial stabilization encountered carefully planned barriers. Compliance mechanisms severely degraded, Sarah reported. Control effectiveness depleting, system reliability restricted, oversight capability eliminated. His financial credibility is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created control conditions that eliminated any possibility of system recovery. The systematic destruction of his financial infrastructure proceeded exactly as designed. The control Impact unprecedented, Linda noted. System integrity terminated, compliance capabilities eliminated, oversight mechanics failing. His position appears fundamentally compromised. I monitored the control destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never handle complex finances was systematically dismantling his fiscal infrastructure. His financial credibility destroyed, Marcus added. Control trust eliminated, system confidence lost, compliance standing, compromised. The operational damage appears terminal. The control collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete financial failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of accountability. Consequences. The extended investigation began triggering catastrophic failures across James's operational infrastructure. Each department review, every process audit revealed new deficiencies, systematically crippling his company's basic functions. Core operations entering terminal decline, Marcus reported, monitoring system status. Production lines failing, service delivery compromised, quality control collapsing. The operational deterioration exceeds all previous assessments. The screens displayed cascading system failures across multiple facilities. Each production line, every service center systematically shutting down under mounting pressure. The man who had boasted about his operational excellence was experiencing coordinated destruction of basic business functions. Regional centers reporting critical failures, Sarah noted, tracking facility status. Quality standards breached, safety protocols compromised, performance metrics collapsing. The operational environment shows comprehensive degradation. Linda. Reviewed liability implications. Safety compliance questioned, quality assurance challenged, operational integrity disputed. The systematic failures are creating exponential risk exposure. I watched years of James's operational development crumble. Each process failure, every quality breach pushed his business closer to complete shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect systematic consequences. Manufacturing facilities particularly affected, Marcus observed. Production standards failing, quality controls disabled, output reliability eliminated. His ability to maintain basic operations is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum operational impact. Each inspection, every review strategically timed to trigger optimal system stress. James's desperate attempts at process stabilization encountered carefully planned barriers. Quality assurance severely compromised, Sarah reported. Production standards depleting, control systems restricted, operational integrity eliminated. His manufacturing capability is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created operational conditions that eliminated any possibility of process recovery. The systematic destruction of his production infrastructure proceeded exactly as designed. Customer complaints reaching critical mass, Linda noted. Service quality challenged, product reliability questioned, delivery performance disputed. Each operational failure amplifies reputational damage. The internal monitoring feeds showed mounting chaos across all facilities. Emergency maintenance. Teams rushed between failing systems while production managers struggled with cascading quality issues. Years of careful operational development were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Employee safety concerns escalating, Marcus added. Workplace incidents increasing, hazard reports mounting, protection systems failing. The operational environment appears fundamentally unsafe. I monitored the operational destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex operations was systematically dismantling his entire production infrastructure. Regulatory violations accelerating, Sarah observed. Safety standards breached, environmental controls compromised, compliance systems disabled. Each failure triggers additional oversight scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the operational collapse. Production supervisors abandoned failing lines. Quality control teams documented mounting defects. Maintenance crews confronted multiplying system failures. His operational credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Process trust eliminated. Production confidence lost. Manufacturing capability compromised. The systematic damage appears terminal. The operational collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete business failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. As our investigation continued, James's product quality standards began catastrophically failing across all lines. Each quality report, every customer complaint revealed deepening issues, systematically destroying his company's reputation for reliability. Quality control systems showing complete collapse, Marcus reported, analyzing production data. Defect rates soaring, customer returns multiplying, warranty claims exploding. The quality deterioration exceeds worst-case projections. The screens displayed cascading quality failures across all product categories. Each production batch, every service delivery systematically failing basic standards. The man who had bragged about his superior quality systems was experiencing coordinated destruction of product reliability. Testing facilities reporting critical failures, Sarah noted, tracking quality metrics. Inspection processes compromised, validation protocols failing, certification systems collapsing. The quality environment shows terminal degradation. Linda reviewed liability exposure. Product safety questioned, reliability standards breached, performance guarantees violated. The quality failures are creating unprecedented legal risk. I watched years of James's quality reputation dissolve. Each failed inspection, every customer complaint, pushed his market position closer to complete collapse. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect quality consequences. Major retail partners particularly concerned, Marcus observed. Product returns accelerating, customer complaints mounting, brand trust evaporating. His ability to maintain market presence is systematically disappearing. Our investigation timing ensured maximum quality impact. Each audit, every inspection strategically timed to trigger optimal standard violations. James's desperate attempts at quality restoration encountered carefully planned barriers. Customer satisfaction metrics catastrophic, Sarah reported. Brand loyalty depleting, market confidence restricted, product trust eliminated. His commercial viability is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created quality conditions that eliminated any possibility of reputation recovery. The systematic destruction of his product standards proceeded exactly as designed. Industry certifications suspended, Linda noted. Quality accreditations withdrawn, safety approvals questioned, reliability ratings downgraded. Each quality failure amplifies market damage. The monitoring systems showed mounting quality chaos across all lines. Inspection teams documented endless defects while customer service struggled with exponential complaint volumes. Years of careful brand building were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Supply chain partners withdrawing, Marcus added. Component quality disputed, material standards questioned, assembly reliability challenged. The production environment appears fundamentally compromised. I monitored the quality destruction with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand quality systems was systematically dismantling his entire product. Reputation. Consumer protection alerts increasing, Sarah observed. Safety concerns publicized, reliability issues highlighted, performance problems exposed. Each failure triggers additional market scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the quality collapse. Production lines generated endless defects. Testing facilities confirmed mounting failures. Customer service confronted multiplying complaints. His quality credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Product trust eliminated. Brand confidence lost. Reliability standing compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The quality collapse would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete market failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation findings began triggering coordinated responses from multiple regulatory agencies. Each compliance failure, every safety violation attracted new oversight attention, systematically increasing James's regulatory exposure. Additional agencies initiating investigations, Marcus reported, tracking regulatory activity. Safety inspectors deployed, environmental auditors engaged, labor standards reviewed. The oversight escalation exceeds strategic projections. The screens displayed mounting agency responses across all jurisdictions. Each regulatory body, every oversight authority systematically launching new investigations. The man who had dismissed compliance as bureaucratic nonsense was experiencing coordinated expansion of regulatory scrutiny. Federal authorities particularly aggressive, Sarah noted, monitoring agency actions. Investigation scope expanded, documentation demands increased, site inspections accelerated. The regulatory environment shows unprecedented coordination. Linda reviewed compliance implications. Multiple violations documented, systematic breaches identified, willful disregard established. The regulatory findings are creating catastrophic exposure. I watched years of James's regulatory avoidance unravel. Each agency finding, every violation report pushed his operations closer to complete shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect oversight consequences. State agencies especially thorough, Marcus observed. Local violations cited, regional compliance questioned, jurisdictional authority exercised. His ability to maintain operations is systematically compromised. Our investigation timing ensured maximum regulatory impact. Each disclosure, every revelation, strategically timed to trigger optimal agency response. James's desperate attempts at compliance restoration encountered carefully planned barriers. Agency coordination unprecedented, Sarah reported. Investigation resources combined, enforcement actions synchronized, regulatory pressure coordinated. His operational flexibility is dissolving rapidly. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created regulatory conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick resolution. The systematic expansion of agency oversight proceeded exactly as designed. Environmental violations particularly severe, Linda noted. Safety standards breached, protection protocols ignored, compliance systems disabled. Each regulatory failure amplifies enforcement response. The monitoring systems showed mounting pressure across all operations. Inspection teams documented endless violations while compliance officers struggled with exponential documentation demands. Years of careful regulatory avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive accountability. Worker protection issues escalating, Marcus added. Safety violations multiplying, labor standards breached, workplace compliance questioned. The operational environment appears fundamentally unsafe. I monitored the regulatory escalation with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never handle complex compliance was systematically orchestrating his complete regulatory exposure. OSHA involvement expanding, Sarah observed. Safety concerns documented, protection issues highlighted, violation patterns exposed. Each finding triggers additional oversight scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the regulatory pressure. Agency teams conducted endless inspections. Investigators confirmed mounting violations. Compliance officers confronted multiplying demands. His regulatory standing destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Agency trust eliminated, compliance confidence lost, operational authority compromised. The systematic damage appears irreversible. The regulatory escalation would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational shutdown. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The investigation began exposing critical safety failures throughout James's operations. Each facility inspection, every safety audit revealed dangerous conditions, systematically documenting his complete disregard for worker protection. Workplace safety systems showing total failure, Marcus reported, analyzing incident data. Accident rates increasing, hazard reports multiplying, protection protocols ignored. The safety deterioration exceeds violation thresholds. The screens displayed mounting safety issues across all facilities. Each operational area, every production line systematically failing basic protection standards. The man who had claimed safety is our priority was experiencing coordinated exposure of dangerous conditions. Multiple facilities reporting critical hazards, Sarah noted, tracking incident reports. Emergency systems compromised, protection equipment missing, safety protocols abandoned. The workplace environment shows systematic endangerment. Linda. Reviewed liability implications. Worker protection violated, safety standards breached, OSHA regulations ignored. The safety failures are creating catastrophic legal exposure. I watched years of James's safety negligence come to light. Each violation discovered, every hazard documented pushed his operations closer to mandatory shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect safety consequences. Production areas particularly dangerous, Marcus observed. Machine guards missing, protective equipment lacking, safety systems disabled. His ability to maintain operations is fundamentally compromised. Our investigation timing ensured maximum safety impact. Each inspection, every audit strategically timed to trigger optimal violation documentation. James's desperate attempts at safety compliance encountered carefully planned barriers. Worker complaints accelerating, Sarah reported. Protection, demands mounting, injury reports increasing, unsafe conditions highlighted. His operational authority is rapidly dissolving. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created safety conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick remediation. The systematic documentation of protection failures proceeded exactly as designed. Chemical handling violations severe, Linda noted. Storage protocols ignored, disposal regulations breached, protection systems compromised. Each safety failure amplifies shutdown pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting hazards across all operations. Safety teams documented endless violations while medical staff handled increasing incident reports. Years of careful safety avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive exposure. Equipment maintenance issues critical, Marcus added. Safety systems failing, protection mechanisms broken, emergency controls disabled. The operational environment appears imminently dangerous. I monitored the safety crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand. Complex safety systems was systematically documenting his complete protection failures. Union involvement expanding, Sarah observed. Worker concerns publicized, safety issues highlighted, violation patterns exposed. Each report triggers additional inspection demands. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the safety collapse. Protection systems showed constant failures. Hazard monitors confirmed mounting dangers. Medical teams confronted multiplying incidents. His safety credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Worker trust eliminated, protection confidence lost. Operational safety compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The safety crisis would continue escalating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational shutdown. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation uncovered systematic environmental violations throughout James's operations. Each facility review, every environmental audit revealed serious breaches, documenting his complete disregard for ecological protection. Environmental control systems showing catastrophic failure, Marcus reported, analyzing compliance data. Emission levels exceeding limits, waste disposal protocols violated, protection measures ignored. The environmental damage exceeds all previous assessments. The screens displayed mounting ecological issues across all facilities. Each production site, every storage facility, systematically violating environmental regulations. The man who had claimed environmental leadership was experiencing coordinated exposure of ecological destruction. Multiple sites reporting critical violations, Sarah noted, tracking compliance reports. Contamination levels rising, protection systems failing, monitoring equipment disabled. The environmental impact shows systematic negligence. Linda reviewed. Regulatory implications. EPA standards violated, environmental regulations breached, protection protocols ignored. The ecological failures are creating unprecedented liability. I watched years of James's environmental negligence surface. Each violation documented, every breach exposed, pushed his operations closer to forced shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect ecological consequences. Chemical storage particularly concerning, Marcus observed. Containment systems failing, disposal protocols ignored, safety measures compromised. His ability to maintain operations faces immediate threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum environmental impact. Each inspection, every assessment strategically timed to trigger optimal violation documentation. James's desperate attempts at compliance restoration encountered carefully planned barriers. Agency involvement intensifying, Sarah reported. EPA, resources deployed, state inspectors engaged, local authorities mobilized. His operational authority faces systematic challenge. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created environmental conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick remediation. The systematic documentation of ecological failures proceeded exactly as designed. Groundwater contamination confirmed, Linda noted. Soil samples compromised, air quality violated, water protection breached. Each environmental failure amplifies shutdown pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting ecological damage across all sites. Environmental teams documented endless violations while compliance officers handled increasing agency demands. Years of careful regulation avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive exposure. Waste management critically deficient, Marcus added. Disposal systems failing, treatment protocols ignored, containment measures compromised. The operational environment shows fundamental disregard. I monitored the environmental crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex environmental systems was systematically documenting his complete protection failures. Community concerns escalating, Sarah observed. Local protests organizing, media coverage expanding, political pressure mounting. Each revelation triggers additional scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the environmental collapse. Monitoring systems showed constant violations. Testing confirmed mounting contamination. Inspection teams confronted multiplying breaches. His environmental credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Community trust eliminated. Regulatory confidence lost. Ecological protection compromised. The systematic damage appears irreversible. The environmental crisis would continue escalating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational shutdown. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The investigation's findings began revealing serious public health concerns throughout James's operations. Each medical report, every health assessment documented dangerous conditions, systematically exposing threats to community well-being. Public health monitoring showing critical alerts, Marcus reported, analyzing medical data. Exposure levels dangerous, health risks multiplying, protection measures non-existent. The community impact exceeds safety thresholds. The screens displayed mounting health concerns across all operational areas. Each facility, every production process systematically generating public health risks. The man who had claimed community safety priority was experiencing coordinated exposure of health hazards. Health Department intervention accelerating, Sarah noted, tracking agency responses. Medical investigations launched, exposure studies initiated, risk assessments expanded. The public health environment shows systematic endangerment. Linda. Reviewed liability implications. Health standards violated, safety protocols breached, protection measures ignored. The medical concerns are creating catastrophic exposure. I watched years of James's health negligence surface. Each violation documented, every risk exposed, pushed his operations closer to mandatory closure. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect public health consequences. Worker health particularly compromised, Marcus observed. Exposure levels dangerous, protection equipment missing, medical monitoring inadequate. His ability to maintain operations faces immediate challenge. Our investigation timing ensured maximum health impact. Each inspection, every assessment strategically timed to trigger optimal violation documentation. James's desperate attempts at compliance restoration encountered carefully planned barriers. Medical oversight intensifying, Sarah reported. Health. Agencies engaged, research teams deployed, investigation resources mobilized. His operational authority faces systematic challenge. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created health conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick remediation. The systematic documentation of public safety failures proceeded exactly as designed. Community exposure confirmed, Linda noted. Air quality compromised, water safety questioned, environmental health threatened. Each safety failure amplifies closure pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting health risks across all operations. Medical teams documented endless concerns, while compliance officers handled increasing agency demands. Years of careful regulation avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive exposure. Occupational health critically deficient, Marcus added. Protection systems failing, monitoring protocols ignored, safety measures compromised. The operational environment shows fundamental disregard. I monitored the health crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex health regulations was systematically documenting his complete safety failures. Community health concerns mounting, Sarah observed. Medical investigations expanding, exposure studies continuing, risk assessments growing. Each finding triggers additional scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the health crisis. Monitoring systems showed constant violations, testing confirmed mounting risks, inspection teams confronted multiplying concerns. His public health credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Community trust eliminated, medical confidence lost, safety protection compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The health crisis would continue escalating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational shutdown. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The mounting evidence of James's violations triggered intense community backlash. Each revelation, every new discovery fueled growing public outrage, systematically destroying his carefully maintained local relationships. Community opposition reaching critical mass, Marcus reported, monitoring public response. Local protests organizing, neighborhood groups mobilizing, community leaders engaging. The public reaction exceeds impact projections. The screens displayed mounting community action across all operational areas. Each neighborhood, every local organization, systematically turning against his presence. The man who had claimed strong community bonds was experiencing coordinated dissolution of public support. Local government intervention accelerating, Sarah noted, tracking official responses. City councils meeting, planning boards convening, zoning committees reviewing. The political environment shows systematic opposition. Linda reviewed public implications. Community trust violated, local support withdrawn, neighborhood relationships destroyed. The public response is creating operational impossibility. I watched years of James's community manipulation unravel. Each protest organized, every complaint filed, pushed his operations closer to local rejection. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect public consequences. Neighborhood groups particularly active, Marcus observed. Public meetings organized, protest actions planned, community pressure mounting. His ability to maintain operations faces fundamental challenge. Our investigation timing ensured maximum community impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal public response. James's desperate attempts at relationship restoration encountered carefully planned barriers. Media coverage intensifying, Sarah reported. Local news engaged, community papers investigating, social networks mobilizing. His public standing faces systematic destruction. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created community conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick reconciliation. The systematic documentation of public trust violations proceeded exactly as designed. Property values impacted, Linda noted. Real estate concerns mounting, development plans questioned, neighborhood stability threatened. Each revelation amplifies community opposition. The monitoring systems showed mounting public pressure across all areas. Community groups documented endless concerns while local officials handled increasing constituent demands. Years of careful relationship cultivation were dissolving into comprehensive rejection. Public trust critically compromised, Marcus added. Community support failing, local relationships broken, neighborhood acceptance lost. The social environment shows fundamental hostility. I monitored the community crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex community relations was systematically documenting his complete public failures. Political pressure growing, Sarah observed. Local officials responding, community leaders engaging, neighborhood groups organizing. Each development triggers additional opposition. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the public rejection. Community meetings showed constant criticism. Surveys confirmed mounting opposition. Local leaders confronted, multiplying concerns. His community credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Public trust eliminated, local confidence lost, neighborhood standing compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The community crisis would continue escalating, each day pushing James closer to complete local rejection. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation findings began generating intense political pressure on James's operations. Each violation exposed, every breach documented attracted increasing attention from elected officials, systematically destroying his government relationships. Political intervention reaching unprecedented levels, Marcus reported, monitoring official responses. State representatives engaged, local officials mobilized, regulatory authorities activated. The government pressure exceeds strategic projections. The screens displayed mounting political action across all jurisdictions. Each government level, every political body systematically targeting his operations. The man who had bragged about his political connections was experiencing coordinated dissolution of official support. Legislative oversight expanding rapidly, Sarah noted, tracking government activity. Committee hearings scheduled, investigations launched, regulatory reviews initiated. The political environment shows systematic opposition. Linda reviewed governmental implications. Official support withdrawn, political protection eliminated, administrative relationships compromised. The government response is creating operational impossibility. I watched years of James's political manipulation collapse. Each official inquiry, every legislative review pushed his operations closer to government intervention. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect political consequences. State agencies particularly aggressive, Marcus observed. Regulatory reviews accelerated, compliance investigations expanded, enforcement actions initiated. His ability to maintain operations faces fundamental challenge. Our investigation timing ensured maximum political impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal government response. James's desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Legislative action intensifying, Sarah reported. Committee, resources deployed, oversight expanded, investigation scope broadened. His government standing faces systematic destruction. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created political conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick resolution. The systematic documentation of government violations proceeded exactly as designed. Regulatory scrutiny unprecedented, Linda noted. Agency involvement expanding, oversight increasing, enforcement accelerating. Each revelation amplifies official pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting political pressure across all levels. Government teams documented endless violations, while elected officials handled increasing constituent demands. Years of careful relationship building were dissolving into comprehensive opposition. Administrative support critically compromised, Marcus added. Government relationships failing, political connections broken, official acceptance lost. The regulatory environment shows fundamental hostility. I monitored the political crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex government relations was systematically documenting his complete official failures. Legislative pressure mounting, Sarah observed. Committee actions expanding, oversight growing, investigations deepening. Each development triggers additional scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the political rejection. Government meetings showed constant criticism. Reports confirmed mounting opposition. Elected officials confronted multiplying concerns. His political credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Government trust eliminated, official confidence lost, administrative standing compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The political crisis would continue escalating, each day pushing James closer to complete government rejection. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The investigation findings triggered a catastrophic response from James's insurance providers. Each violation documented, every risk exposed caused insurers to systematically withdraw coverage, destroying his operational protection. Insurance carriers initiating mass withdrawal, Marcus reported, monitoring coverage changes. Liability policies canceled, property coverage terminated, business protection eliminated. The insurance collapse exceeds worst projections. The screens displayed cascading coverage cancellations across all categories. Each insurer, every provider systematically abandoning his operations. The man who had boasted about his comprehensive protection was experiencing coordinated elimination of insurance coverage. Risk assessments showing critical exposure, Sarah noted, tracking carrier responses. Coverage gaps widening, liability protection vanishing, operational security compromised. The insurance environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed legal implications. Operational coverage lost, liability protection eliminated, business continuity threatened. The insurance withdrawal is creating catastrophic vulnerability. I watched years of James's risk management dissolve. Each policy cancellation, every coverage termination pushed his operations closer to complete exposure. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect insurance consequences. Major carriers particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Coverage terminated immediately, renewals denied automatically, new applications rejected systematically. His ability to maintain operations faces fundamental threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum insurance impact. Each disclosure, every revelation, strategically timed to trigger optimal carrier response. James's desperate attempts at coverage. Restoration encountered carefully planned barriers. Reinsurance markets responding severely, Sarah reported. Backup coverage withdrawn, secondary protection eliminated, market capacity restricted. His operational security faces systematic dissolution. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created insurance conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his coverage protection proceeded exactly as designed. Liability exposure unprecedented, Linda noted. Personal coverage compromised, corporate protection withdrawn, operational security threatened. Each cancellation amplifies vulnerability. The monitoring systems showed mounting insurance chaos across all operations. Risk managers documented endless exposures while brokers handled increasing rejection notices. Years of careful coverage, development were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Workers' compensation critically impacted, Marcus added. Employee protection failing, accident coverage terminated, liability exposure mounting. The operational environment shows fundamental vulnerability. I monitored the insurance crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex risk management was systematically dismantling his operational protection. Market capacity disappearing, Sarah observed. Coverage options eliminated, provider interest vanishing, protection alternatives dissolving. Each withdrawal triggers additional exposure. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the insurance collapse. Carriers issued constant cancellations, assessments confirmed mounting risks, brokers confronted multiplying rejections. His insurance credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Market trust eliminated, carrier confidence lost, risk profile compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The insurance crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational exposure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation began exposing critical failures throughout James's physical infrastructure. Each facility inspection, every equipment assessment revealed dangerous deterioration, systematically documenting his complete neglect of basic maintenance. Infrastructure systems showing terminal decline, Marcus reported, analyzing facility data. Equipment failing, buildings deteriorating, maintenance ignored. The physical collapse exceeds safety thresholds. The screens displayed mounting structural issues across all locations. Each facility, every operational center systematically revealing dangerous conditions. The man who had claimed world-class infrastructure was experiencing coordinated exposure of systematic neglect. Multiple locations reporting critical failures, Sarah noted, tracking maintenance records. Support systems compromised, structural integrity questioned, safety equipment disabled. The facility environment shows systematic endangerment. Linda reviewed liability implications. Building codes violated, safety standards breached, maintenance regulations ignored. The infrastructure failures are creating catastrophic exposure. I watched years of James's maintenance negligence surface. Each violation discovered, every hazard documented, pushed his operations closer to mandatory shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect infrastructure consequences. Production facilities particularly dangerous, Marcus observed. Equipment guards missing, safety systems failing, structural supports compromised. His ability to maintain operations faces immediate threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum infrastructure impact. Each inspection, every assessment strategically timed to trigger optimal violation documentation. James's desperate attempts at facility remediation encountered carefully planned barriers. Safety inspectors intensifying scrutiny, Sarah reported. Code violations mounting, structural concerns increasing, equipment hazards multiplying. His operational authority faces systematic challenge. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created infrastructure conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick repair. The systematic documentation of facility failures proceeded exactly as designed. Building integrity compromised, Linda noted. Structural safety questioned. Support systems failing. Maintenance records falsified. Each infrastructure failure amplifies shutdown pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting deterioration across all facilities. Inspection teams documented endless violations, while maintenance staff handled increasing equipment failures. Years of careful cost avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive exposure. Critical systems dangerously unstable, Marcus added. Power distribution failing, ventilation compromised, emergency systems disabled. The operational environment shows fundamental disregard. I monitored the infrastructure crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex facility management was systematically documenting his complete maintenance failures. Equipment breakdowns accelerating, Sarah observed. Production lines failing, safety systems crashing, control mechanisms malfunctioning. Each incident triggers additional scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the infrastructure collapse. Monitoring systems showed constant failures. Inspections confirmed mounting hazards. Maintenance teams confronted multiplying breakdowns. His facility credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Safety trust eliminated. Operational confidence lost. Infrastructure integrity compromised. The systematic damage appears irreversible. The infrastructure crisis would continue escalating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational shutdown. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The investigation findings began triggering systematic collapse of James's supply chain relationships. Each vendor review, every supplier assessment revealed deepening concerns, methodically destroying his procurement network. Supply chain partners implementing immediate withdrawal, Marcus reported, monitoring vendor responses. Material supplies terminated, delivery agreements canceled, procurement relationships dissolved. The network collapse exceeds contingency. Planning. The screens displayed cascading supplier departures across all categories. Each vendor, every provider systematically abandoning his operations. The man who had boasted about his unbreakable supply chain was experiencing coordinated destruction of procurement capabilities. Critical suppliers confirming immediate cessation, Sarah noted, tracking relationship terminations. Raw materials restricted, component supplies eliminated, service providers departing. The procurement environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed contractual implications. Supply agreements breached, delivery obligations terminated, procurement contracts dissolved. The vendor exodus is creating operational impossibility. I watched years of James's supplier relationships dissolve. Each vendor departure, every contract termination, pushed his operations closer to complete shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect supply chain consequences. Key providers particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Long-term, relationships terminated, preferential agreements canceled, strategic partnerships dissolved. His ability to maintain operations faces fundamental threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum supply impact. Each disclosure, every revelation, strategically timed to trigger optimal vendor response. James's desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Alternative sources disappearing, Sarah reported. Backup suppliers withdrawn, secondary options eliminated, procurement alternatives restricted. His operational continuity faces systematic dissolution. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created supply conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his procurement network proceeded exactly as designed. Material shortages. Critical, Linda noted. Production inputs depleted, component supplies exhausted, raw material access compromised. Each withdrawal amplifies operational pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting procurement chaos across all operations. Supply managers documented endless shortages while purchasing handled increasing rejection notices. Years of careful relationship building were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Just-in-time systems collapsing, Marcus added. Delivery schedules failing, inventory depleted, production lines starving. The operational environment shows fundamental instability. I monitored the supply chain crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex procurement was systematically dismantling his vendor network. Market. Alternatives evaporating, Sarah observed. Supplier options eliminated, procurement channels closing, material sources vanishing. Each departure triggers additional exposure. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the supply chain collapse. Vendors issued constant terminations. Inventories showed critical shortages. Purchasing confronted multiplying rejections. His procurement credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Supplier trust eliminated. Vendor confidence lost. Relationship. Network compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The supply chain crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational paralysis. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation began triggering systematic failure of James's distribution networks. Each logistics review, every delivery assessment revealed deepening disruptions, methodically destroying his ability to move products. Distribution partners implementing total withdrawal, Marcus reported, monitoring logistics changes. Shipping contracts canceled, warehousing agreements terminated, transportation relationships dissolved. The network collapse exceeds operational projections. The screens displayed cascading carrier departures across all regions. Each transporter, every warehouse systematically abandoning his operations. The man who had bragged about his perfect distribution system was experiencing coordinated destruction of logistics capabilities. Transportation providers confirming immediate cessation, Sarah noted, tracking service terminations. Delivery. Capacity restricted, storage access eliminated, freight services departing. The logistics environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed contractual implications. Shipping agreements breached, warehousing obligations terminated, distribution. Contracts dissolved. The carrier exodus is creating delivery impossibility. I watched years of James's logistics relationships dissolve. Each carrier departure, every contract termination pushed his operations closer to complete paralysis. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect distribution consequences. Major carriers particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Long-haul relationships terminated, regional agreements canceled, local services dissolved. His ability to maintain deliveries faces fundamental threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum logistics impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal carrier response. James's desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Alternative carriers disappearing, Sarah reported. Backup transporters withdrawn, secondary options eliminated, delivery alternatives restricted. His distribution continuity faces systematic dissolution. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created logistics conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his distribution network proceeded exactly as designed. Delivery capabilities critical, Linda noted. Transportation capacity depleted, warehousing access compromised, shipping options exhausted. Each withdrawal amplifies operational pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting logistics chaos across all operations. Distribution managers documented endless delays, while shipping handled increasing service denials. Years of careful network building were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Delivery schedules collapsing, Marcus added. Transit times failing, routing options limited, customer commitments missed. The operational environment shows fundamental instability. I monitored the distribution crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex logistics was systematically dismantling his delivery network. Market. Alternatives evaporating, Sarah observed. Carrier options eliminated, warehousing channels closing, transportation sources vanishing. Each departure triggers additional exposure. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the distribution. Collapse. Carriers issued constant terminations. Warehouses showed mounting rejections. Logistics confronted multiplying failures. His distribution credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Carrier trust eliminated. Logistics confidence lost. Delivery. Network compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The distribution crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete delivery paralysis. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The investigation findings began triggering a mass exodus of James's customer base. Each service failure, every delivery disruption pushed more clients toward abandonment, systematically destroying his market presence. Major accounts implementing. Immediate departure, Marcus reported, monitoring customer responses. Service contracts canceled, purchase agreements terminated, business relationships dissolved. The client exodus exceeds loss projections. The screens displayed cascading account closures across all sectors. Each customer, every client systematically abandoning his operations. The man who had boasted about his unshakable customer loyalty was experiencing coordinated destruction of market relationships. Key accounts confirming total withdrawal, Sarah noted, tracking relationship terminations. Service orders canceled, delivery commitments rejected, future business eliminated. The market environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed contractual implications. Service agreements breached, delivery obligations terminated, customer contracts dissolved. The client departure is creating revenue impossibility. Watched years of James's customer relationships dissolve. Each account closure, every contract termination pushed his operations closer to complete market isolation. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect customer consequences. Premium clients particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Long-term relationships terminated, service agreements canceled, business partnerships dissolved. His ability to maintain revenue faces fundamental threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum customer impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal client response. James's desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Market alternatives disappearing, Sarah reported. Replacement customers unavailable, new business restricted, growth opportunities eliminated. His market continuity faces systematic dissolution. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created market conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his customer base proceeded, exactly as designed. Service capabilities critical, Linda noted. Delivery capacity depleted, quality standards compromised, customer satisfaction destroyed. Each departure amplifies market pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting customer chaos across all operations. Account managers documented endless cancellations while sales handled increasing relationship terminations. Years of careful market building were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Customer satisfaction collapsing, Marcus added. Service metrics failing, quality ratings plummeting, delivery commitments missed. The market environment shows fundamental instability. I monitored the customer crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex customer relationships was systematically dismantling his client network. Market share evaporating, Sarah observed. Customer options eliminated, business channels closing, revenue sources vanishing. Each departure triggers additional exposure. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the customer collapse. Clients issued constant terminations, accounts showed mounting closures, sales confronted multiplying losses. His market credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Customer trust eliminated, client confidence lost, business network compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The customer crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete market isolation. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation began triggering systematic withdrawal of James's business partners. Each strategic alliance, every joint venture rapidly dissolved their relationships, methodically destroying his collaborative network. Strategic partners implementing immediate separation, Marcus reported, monitoring business relationships. Joint ventures terminated, alliance agreements canceled, collaboration projects dissolved. The partner exodus exceeds severance projections. The screens displayed cascading partnership dissolutions across all sectors. Each ally, every collaborator systematically abandoning his operations. The man who had bragged about his powerful business network was experiencing coordinated destruction of strategic relationships. Key partners confirming complete withdrawal, Sarah noted, tracking alliance terminations. Development projects canceled, shared resources withdrawn, future collaborations eliminated. The partnership environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed legal implications. Alliance agreements breached, collaboration obligations terminated, partnership contracts dissolved. The strategic withdrawal is creating operational impossibility. I watched years of James's partner relationships dissolve. Each alliance termination, every collaboration closure pushed his operations closer to complete business isolation. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect partnership consequences. Major collaborators, particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Long-term alliances terminated, joint projects canceled, strategic partnerships dissolved. His ability to maintain operations faces fundamental threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum partnership impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal partner response. James's desperate attempts at relationship preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Strategic alternatives disappearing, Sarah reported. Replacement partners unavailable, new alliances restricted, collaboration opportunities eliminated. His business continuity faces systematic dissolution. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created partnership conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his alliance network proceeded exactly as designed. Collaborative capabilities critical, Linda noted. Joint resources depleted, shared projects compromised, partnership value destroyed. Each withdrawal amplifies operational pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting partnership chaos across all operations. Alliance managers documented endless terminations while development handled increasing project closures. Years of careful relationship building were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Strategic initiatives collapsing, Marcus added. Joint ventures failing, shared projects abandoned, collaboration metrics plummeting. The partnership environment shows fundamental instability. I monitored the partner crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex business relationships was systematically dismantling his alliance network. Strategic options evaporating, Sarah observed. Partnership alternatives eliminated. Collaboration channels closing. Alliance opportunities vanishing. Each departure triggers additional exposure. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the partnership collapse. Partners issued constant terminations. Alliances showed mounting dissolutions. Collaborations confronted multiplying failures. His partnership credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Strategic trust eliminated. Alliance confidence lost. Collaboration. Network compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The partner crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete business isolation. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The investigation findings began triggering systematic failure of James's technology infrastructure. Each system review, every platform assessment revealed critical vulnerabilities, methodically destroying his operational capabilities. Core systems, showing terminal decline, Marcus reported, monitoring technical failures. Network infrastructure failing, data systems corrupting, security protocols collapsing. The technology breakdown exceeds failure projections. The screens displayed cascading. System failures across all platforms. Each server, every application systematically degrading performance. The man who had boasted about his cutting-edge technology was experiencing coordinated destruction of technical capabilities. Critical systems confirming total failure, Sarah noted, tracking platform degradation. Processing capacity restricted. Storage systems compromised, backup solutions failing. The technical environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed operational implications. System reliability breached, data integrity compromised, technology infrastructure crippled. The technical collapse is creating operational impossibility. I watched years of James's technology investment dissolve. Each system crash, every platform failure pushed his operations closer to complete technical paralysis. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect infrastructure consequences. Core platforms particularly unstable, Marcus observed. Primary systems failing, backup solutions corrupted, recovery options eliminated. His ability to maintain operations faces fundamental threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum technical impact. Each audit, every assessment strategically timed to trigger optimal system stress. James's desperate attempts at infrastructure stabilization encountered carefully planned barriers. Recovery options disappearing, Sarah reported. Backup systems compromised, redundancy eliminated, failover capabilities restricted. His operational continuity faces systematic dissolution. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created technical conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his technology infrastructure proceeded exactly as designed. Processing capabilities critical, Linda noted. System capacity depleted. Performance metrics plummeting. Reliability standards compromised. Each failure amplifies operational pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting technical chaos across all operations. System administrators documented endless failures while support handled increasing platform crashes. Years of careful infrastructure development were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Data integrity collapsing, Marcus added. Storage systems corrupting, backup processes failing, recovery mechanisms breaking. The technical environment shows fundamental instability. I monitored the technology crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex systems was systematically dismantling his technical infrastructure. System options evaporating, Sarah observed. Recovery alternatives eliminated, backup channels failing, infrastructure solutions vanishing. Each collapse triggers additional exposure. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the technology breakdown. Systems showed constant failures, platforms displayed mounting errors, infrastructure confronted multiplying crashes. His technical credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. System trust eliminated, platform confidence lost, infrastructure reliability compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The technology crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational paralysis. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation began exposing systematic corruption of James's business data. Each database review, every record assessment revealed critical integrity issues, methodically destroying his information reliability. Data systems showing comprehensive corruption, Marcus reported, monitoring information integrity. Financial records degrading, operational data compromised, historical archives failing. The information breakdown exceeds loss projections. The screens displayed cascading data, failures across all systems. Each database, every record set systematically losing integrity. The man who had bragged about his perfect information systems was experiencing coordinated destruction of data reliability. Critical records confirming severe corruption, Sarah noted, tracking data degradation. Transaction history compromised. Customer records fragmenting, supplier data corrupting. The information environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed compliance implications. Data integrity breached, record-keeping compromised, information reliability destroyed. The data corruption is creating regulatory impossibility. I watched years of James's information accumulation dissolve. Each database corruption, every record failure pushed his operations closer to complete data chaos. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect information consequences. Core databases particularly unstable, Marcus observed. Financial records corrupting, operational data failing, historical archives degrading. His ability to maintain compliance faces fundamental threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum data impact. Each audit, every assessment strategically timed to trigger optimal information stress. James's desperate attempts at data recovery encountered carefully planned barriers. Backup systems failing, Sarah reported. Archive copies corrupted, recovery options eliminated, redundancy mechanisms restricted. His information continuity faces systematic dissolution. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created data conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his information integrity proceeded exactly as designed. Record-keeping capabilities critical, Linda noted. Data accuracy depleted, information reliability compromised, archive integrity destroyed. Each failure amplifies compliance pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting data chaos across all operations. System administrators documented endless corruptions while support handled increasing information losses. Years of careful record-keeping were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Information reliability collapsing, Marcus added. Database integrity failing, record accuracy plummeting, data consistency breaking. The information environment shows fundamental instability. I monitored the data crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand. Complex information systems was systematically dismantling his data integrity. Recovery options evaporating, Sarah observed. Backup alternatives corrupted, archive channels failing, restoration solutions vanishing. Each loss triggers additional exposure. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the data breakdown. Databases showed constant corruption. Records displayed mounting errors. Archives confronted multiplying failures. His information credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Data trust eliminated, record confidence lost, information reliability compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The data crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete information chaos. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The investigation began revealing systematic failures in James's financial reporting systems. Each audit review, every accounting assessment exposed critical irregularities, methodically destroying his fiscal credibility. Financial reporting, showing terminal breakdown, Marcus reported, monitoring accounting systems. Balance sheets corrupted, income statements compromised, cash flow records failing. The reporting collapse exceeds audit thresholds. The screens displayed cascading, accounting failures across all divisions. Each financial statement, every fiscal record systematically losing reliability. The man who had boasted about his perfect financial controls was experiencing coordinated destruction of accounting credibility. Independent auditors confirming systemic issues, Sarah noted, tracking report inconsistencies. Accounting practices questioned, financial controls failing, reporting accuracy compromised. The fiscal environment shows fundamental deterioration. Linda reviewed regulatory implications. SEC standards violated, GAAP compliance breached, reporting integrity destroyed. The accounting failures are creating enforcement exposure. I watched. Years of James's financial reputation dissolve. Each reporting error, every accounting discrepancy pushed his operations closer to regulatory intervention. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect financial consequences. Core accounting particularly compromised, Marcus observed. Internal controls failing, reconciliation processes broken, audit trails disappearing. His ability to maintain compliance faces immediate threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum reporting impact. Each disclosure, every revelation, strategically timed to trigger optimal regulatory response. James's desperate attempts at financial stabilization encountered carefully planned barriers. Auditor confidence evaporating, Sarah reported. Professional. Relationships strained, certification questioned, reporting credibility eliminated. His financial standing faces systematic destruction. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created accounting conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick recovery. The systematic destruction of his financial credibility proceeded exactly as designed. Reporting capabilities critical, Linda noted. Statement accuracy depleted, control reliability compromised, disclosure integrity destroyed. Each failure amplifies regulatory pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting financial chaos across all operations. Accounting teams documented endless discrepancies while auditors handled increasing compliance failures. Years of careful reputation building were dissolving into comprehensive failure. Financial controls collapsing, Marcus added. Reconciliation processes failing, verification systems breaking, audit mechanisms disabled. The accounting environment shows terminal instability. I monitored the reporting crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex accounting was systematically dismantling his financial credibility. Professional confidence evaporating, Sarah observed. Auditor relationships strained, regulatory trust eliminated, market confidence destroyed. Each revelation triggers additional scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the financial collapse. Reports showed constant errors, audits revealed mounting issues, regulators confronted multiplying violations. His accounting credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Professional trust eliminated, regulatory confidence lost, financial integrity compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The reporting crisis would continue accelerating, each day pushing James closer to complete financial collapse. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. Our investigation findings triggered systematic failure of James's compliance systems. Each regulatory review, every standard assessment revealed critical violations, methodically destroying his operational legitimacy. Compliance programs showing complete breakdown, Marcus reported, monitoring regulatory adherence. Safety protocols violated, environmental standards breached, labor regulations ignored. The compliance collapse exceeds violation thresholds. The screens displayed cascading regulatory failures across all operations. Each compliance area, every standard requirement systematically revealing violations. The man who had dismissed compliance as bureaucratic nonsense was experiencing coordinated exposure of systematic negligence. Multiple agencies confirming critical violations, Sarah noted, tracking regulatory responses. Safety standards breached, environmental controls failing, labor compliance compromised. The regulatory environment shows terminal deterioration. Linda reviewed legal implications. Federal regulations violated, state standards breached, local ordinances ignored. The compliance failures are creating enforcement inevitability. I watched years of James's regulatory avoidance surface. Each violation, documented every breach exposed, pushed his operations closer to complete shutdown. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect compliance consequences. Safety oversight particularly aggressive, Marcus observed. Protection standards failing, hazard controls disabled, monitoring systems compromised. His ability to maintain operations faces immediate threat. Our investigation timing ensured maximum regulatory impact. Each disclosure, every revelation strategically timed to trigger optimal agency response. James's desperate attempts at compliance restoration encountered carefully planned barriers. Agency coordination unprecedented, Sarah reported. Enforcement actions synchronized, investigations coordinated, regulatory pressure intensified. His operational authority faces systematic challenge. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created compliance conditions that eliminated any possibility of quick remediation. The systematic documentation of regulatory failures proceeded exactly as designed. Violation severity critical, Linda noted. Safety risks documented, environmental damage confirmed, labor exploitation exposed. Each failure amplifies enforcement pressure. The monitoring systems showed mounting compliance chaos across all operations. Safety teams documented endless violations while managers handled increasing agency demands. Years of careful regulation avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive exposure. Protection systems failing, Marcus added. Safety controls disabled, monitoring equipment broken, compliance mechanisms compromised. The operational environment shows fundamental disregard. I monitored the compliance crisis with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex regulations was systematically documenting his complete regulatory failures. Agency involvement expanding, Sarah observed. Federal investigation deepening, state oversight increasing, local enforcement intensifying. Each violation triggers additional scrutiny. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the compliance collapse. Inspectors documented constant violations, audits confirmed mounting breaches, agencies confronted multiplying failures. His regulatory credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Agency trust eliminated, compliance confidence lost, operational authority compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The compliance crisis would continue escalating, each day pushing James closer to complete operational shutdown. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. After months of systematic investigation and documentation, the moment for final license review had arrived. Every aspect of James's business operations had been methodically examined, every failure carefully recorded, creating an irrefutable case for complete denial. Review documentation shows comprehensive failure, Marcus reported, analyzing final findings. Every operational area compromised, all standards violated, systematic negligence confirmed. The evidence exceeds all denial thresholds. The screens displayed the complete scope of our investigation results. Each department, every function systematically documented as non-compliant. The man who had dismissed regulatory oversight was facing coordinated presentation of total operational failure. Multiple agencies submitting supporting evidence, Sarah noted, tracking authority input. Safety violations confirmed, Environmental damage documented, labor exploitation proven. The regulatory consensus shows universal opposition. Linda reviewed, legal positioning. Denial justification overwhelming, appeal options eliminated, precedent requirements satisfied. The license rejection is legally unassailable. I reviewed years of careful documentation. Each violation recorded, every failure cataloged pushed his application closer to inevitable rejection. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect regulatory consequences. Board members particularly convinced, Marcus observed. Evidence compelling, documentation thorough, systematic failures clear. His application faces unanimous rejection. Our investigation timing ensured maximum review impact. Each finding, every conclusion strategically presented for optimal regulatory effect. James's desperate attempts at license preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Supporting recommendations universal, Sarah reported. Agency positions aligned, expert opinions consistent, professional guidance clear. His application faces systematic rejection. Through precise coordination of investigation activities, I had created review conditions that eliminated any possibility of approval. The systematic presentation of operational failures proceeded exactly as designed. Evidence quality exceptional, Linda noted. Documentation thorough, verification complete, systematic failures proven. Each finding reinforces rejection necessity. The monitoring systems showed mounting realization across all observers. Review teams examined endless violations while experts confirmed increasing operational failures. Years of careful regulation, avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive consequences. Application defense collapsing, Marcus added. Justification failing, explanations inadequate, mitigation impossible. The review environment shows fundamental opposition. I monitored the final process with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex regulations was systematically dismantling his license application. Board confidence absolute, Sarah observed. Rejection support unanimous, decision clear, determination final. Each review confirms denial inevitability. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the final review. Members examined constant violations, experts confirmed mounting failures, authorities confronted multiplying breaches. His application credibility destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Professional trust eliminated, regulatory confidence lost, operational capability compromised. The systematic damage appears terminal. The review would conclude with inevitable rejection, each finding pushing James closer to complete business failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The License Review Board convened for its final decision, though the outcome had been systematically assured through months of careful preparation. Every aspect of James's business had been methodically exposed, every failure meticulously documented, creating perfect justification for complete rejection. All members prepared for denial vote, Marcus reported, monitoring the proceedings. Evidence reviewed, documentation examined, systematic failures confirmed. The rejection appears unanimously supported. The screens displayed the board members' careful examination of our investigation results. Each finding, every conclusion systematically reinforcing the necessity of license denial. The man who had arrogantly dismissed my capabilities was about to experience coordinated destruction of his business authority. Member questions showing complete conviction, Sarah noted, tracking board responses. Evidence quality praised, documentation thoroughness noted, systematic investigation acknowledged. The decision environment shows universal agreement. Linda reviewed final positioning. Rejection justification comprehensive, appeal options eliminated, legal position unassailable. The license denial is perfectly structured. I watched years of James's careful manipulation dissolve. Each board member's review, Every expert's conclusion pushed the decision closer to inevitable rejection. The expertise he had dismissed was orchestrating perfect regulatory consequences. Final statements particularly decisive, Marcus observed. Member comments aligned, professional consensus clear, systematic failures emphasized. His application faces unanimous destruction. Our presentation timing ensured maximum decision impact. Each finding, every conclusion strategically revealed for optimal board response. James's desperate final attempts at license preservation encountered carefully planned barriers. Member support absolute, Sarah reported. Decision alignment complete. Professional agreement universal. Determination consensus clear. His application faces systematic rejection. Through precise coordination of investigation presentation, I had created review conditions that eliminated any possibility of approval. The systematic destruction of his business authority proceeded exactly as designed. Decision. Support overwhelming, Linda noted. Member agreement complete. Professional consensus absolute. Systematic failures proven. Each review reinforces rejection necessity. The monitoring system showed mounting realization across all participants. Board members examined endless violations, while experts confirmed increasing operational failures. Years of careful regulation avoidance were dissolving into comprehensive consequences. Final defense collapsing, Marcus added. Explanation attempts failing, justification inadequate, mitigation impossible. The decision environment shows fundamental opposition. I monitored the final proceedings with professional detachment. The woman James had told would never understand complex regulations was systematically finalizing his business destruction. Board determination absolute, Sarah observed. Rejection support unanimous, decision clear, determination final. Each member confirms denial necessity. The surveillance feeds captured every aspect of the final decision. Members cited constant violations, experts confirmed mounting failures, authorities emphasized multiplying breaches. His business future destroyed, Marcus confirmed. Professional authority eliminated, operational capability lost, business viability compromised. The systematic damage appears permanent. The proceeding concluded with unanimous rejection, each vote pushing James closer to complete business failure. His dismissal of my capabilities had enabled perfect orchestration of comprehensive consequences. The woman he claimed would be nothing, without him, had systematically engineered his complete professional destruction.